Yeah, well, it's a American League, state of Florida, Ray's logo. Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, JPeeps is giving us his full rundown of his fancy new Ray shirt, everybody. Welcome to the Run and Gun Podcast, Season 5, Episode 13.
Look,
NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, MLB going on, NFL draft is a week away.
facts, we're less than 9 days away, honestly, dude. It's crazy how fast it came up. But yes, no, about
8 days.
my shirt is new. I didn't honestly. It's pretty sad. I didn't have that. I had more lightning stuff than I had raised stuff, so it's like I had to kind of get it all caught up and even. So this is actually a very good investment. It's very comfortable, so I love it. I'm happy. We didn't match tonight, but like I said, we matched in a special kind of way. I guess he's wearing lightning clothing. I'm wearing raised clothing, so it's like we're still matching in a sense.
Yeah, two different Tampa teams, two different colors, shades of the same color, but his is the black primaries. Mine is blue primary. But anyways, we are not here to talk about shirts. We are here to talk about sports revolving those shirts.
Yeah, so one team actually still undefeated in the continental United States. One team put hands on Toronto when they crossed the border and went north last night. And then a couple other things too. We're going to talk about who FAMU added, both the key additions that FAMU added, how the spring game went, the big deal about these mega camps, and also why so many people are hopping in the transfer portal. And what does it mean? All of that is this evening. So before we roll it, Ace, do you got anything?
Be a friend, tell a friend, like, share, subscribe. Maple Leaf fans, be more classy. Y'all are how do I say this nicely? Bad looking. I don't know how to say it nicely.
You
And like
said
the
they're
most,
bad looking.
yeah, they're looking very bad publicly right now. With the way how they are conducting themselves. Them and Edmonton fans. Edmonton fans were brutal at the game with the Kings on Monday night. And Toronto fans on Twitter last night, oh boy, they were classless. I don't want to say classless because that was what was used for Angel Reese and all that with LSU nonsense. But then you have like, now this is the true definition of classless, like pushing injuries on players. But that's not what we're gonna talk about that later, probably in like hot topics or have its own section. We'll figure that out as we get going. Be a friend, tell a friend, like, share, subscribe, run that intro to your peeps, and let's get going.
I got you. Well, let me get rid of that. Here we go. Let's do it. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is JP.
This is the Bug.
This is JC.
This is Flash. This is Denny Hendricks.
And you're listening to
And you're listening to
And you're listening to
And you're listening to the Run and Gun Podcast.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. So first thing we got on the task for this evening is, we got, well, I have to talk about it first. First things first. So FAMU made some pretty key additions last night. I want to say at around like 7 or 8 o'clock. They added an offensive lineman, Cardell Thomas, who's a former 5-star offensive lineman from LSU. I think, honestly, he's a day one starter at the guard position. And then today at noon, they also added Tarleton State, which is in Texas, recruit McCody Robertson, who also comes to FAMU. So Cardell Thomas, as I just said, offensive lineman guy. McCody Robertson, defensive tackle. Willie Simmons has already said, I'm looking forward to the inside run drills in that portion of practice because honestly, I can't wait to see that either. I think both these guys are plug and play. I think McCody Robertson's someone that you plug in right next to General Hunt and you play him from the get go, no questions asked. But I'm very impressed with the key additions. I was thinking it was going to be Mike Evans Jr., who is still waiting to name his destination. But Coach Rushbris and Ray Matthews both said, they're looking to add one more wide receiver. They're not done yet. They still aren't done. So get ready. Get ready.
You holding out hope for Mike Evans Jr.?
Yeah. Slowly but surely. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't go there, honestly. I mean, like, he has offers from FAMU, Jackson State. I think I saw Maryland, too. I'm not sure. I can't remember who all it was, but it's been the same couple schools since the end of the college football season, honestly. So.
Interesting. But yeah, orange and green game. But I was like, the second, I'm like, is it green and orange or orange and green? I don't know. Anyways, that was pretty decent, I can say.
Oh, wait, Ace watched it?
Nah, I saw clips.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I was like, Ace watched the orange and green game. Okay. But yeah, honestly,
Clips.
I came away very impressed, honestly. Like, the thing people don't realize is, well, some do, some don't. Spring games are not always meant to be flash and dash and pretty. Honestly, I was not expecting the offense to go in there and light it up and put up 40. I really wasn't. Considering the fact that, for one, it's practice 15. The defense should know what the offense is going to run and what every little hand signal means. The defense, if you don't, and it's 15 practices in, that's a problem because that means that you're not learning how to read signals. You don't know what's coming. Now, the other thing with that is I came away very impressed with the running attack. And I liked the way that Jaquez Yant ran the football primarily because that was the main thing I wanted to see in the running game was, what is this Jaquez Yant guy really about? And come to find out, dude, the man's a load. Kamari Stevens is going to be a beast off the edge. Once again, I think this is the year that he'll actually break out and make an impact. A lot of the transfers, they made their presence felt. I was very impressed. I thought Kareem Burke was going to have a big day up until the fact that he rolled his ankle and they held him out. Rightfully so. It's a spring game. You don't need to kill yourself. Musa looked good given the circumstances, in my honest opinion. And, Darian Oxendine looks like he's ready to step up and be like what Xavier Smith was. Hopefully, everybody else gets involved. Jamari Shareed, didn't hear his name called, but obviously I think he was held out for injury purposes like Gentle Hunt. But yeah, Ace, what did you think?
I think it was good. I mean, like you said, I wasn't expecting much of the offense to being how do I say this? Not to the tier of like a well-oiled machine, but not to the point where it's like a broken down Datsun. You know what I mean?
Rightfully so. And that's how spring should be, honestly. Because I mean, if you look around, honestly, it's like like I said last week, defense should be ahead of offenses at this point. And then honestly, you look at Florida State's spring game, it was a little bit of a struggle. You look at Georgia's spring game.
I would have said Texas. Everybody was getting in on Arch Manning.
Exactly. Wow, look at that. Nothing new. Actually, my bad. I'm watching the LA Memphis game too. Nothing new. Anthony Davis hurt again. Got hit in the face. Stays injured. But let me stop. I digress. But yeah, honestly, it's okay. I mean, everybody's overreacting. The one thing that I will say that I agree with a lot of people about is it would have been nice to have seen Willie Simmons dedicate to the run in the red zone. But I understand for specific reasons he didn't. Like, there was a lot of things that we didn't see because we didn't see certain personnel and we will see certain personnel when the season gets here. So it's okay. It's okay. I mean, honestly, you don't want to wear down Jaquez Yant in the hot sun in the middle of the spring, honestly, because you just want to impress the masses, of course.
Well, Saturday here was pretty cool.
Oh, well, Saturday up in the Panhandle, it
No,
was
wait. Was it Monday or Saturday? No, Saturday was brutal hot. It was Sunday had the rain and Monday was cool.
yeah, same here. So yeah, I mean, I understand where it came from and stuff because it's certain things that you want to show, it's certain things you don't want to show in a spring game and everything. And that's a film that you take with you from that day and you just go through, evaluate it. You see who can you depend on, who can you not, and so on and so forth. And then you base that off of and hopefully get an idea of what you want to put together as far as packages and stuff when you come back for fall camp.
Mm-hmm. I
So
would add one little thing on that also is actually you kind of actually said it where it's like you're gonna see who fits what situations better with this game, even if it wasn't like the flashiest. And then probably saw something they saw in the orange and green game in the trenches, and that's what led to the two transfers.
exactly, exactly. And I think
Coaches
honestly,
probably saw something like, let me up our pursuit of these specific players
and
to
I
upgrade
think
those specific spots.
I
Sorry.
think both guys were on campus for the spring game because, and this is a testament to what Coach Rispers does an excellent job of. Is they had 200 kids on campus for that game because of junior day. Just in total 200 recruits in all. So I think some of those guys were among those McCody Robertson and Cardell Thomas.
No, I'm just saying like the game probably increased the not sense of urgency, but the willingness to put more like incentives for players to come on to hop on the team.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, yeah. That certain things like that'll do that honestly, because then you realize you're like, okay, you see how much fun these guys are having. They're flying around and everything, and you're just like, yeah, I want to be here. That's what it'll do to you sometimes, honestly.
The vibes.
Exactly, man.
The vibes.
And then a couple other things, couple house cleaning things too. So as well, Alabama State running back Ja'Cory Merritt hopped in the portal today. And also, too, Southern's edge rusher Trey Lang, who is also a Tallahassee native, hopped in the portal too. What we got? What we got? Oh, yeah, Action was actually there. He said, "Boy, it was hot out there." Yeah, see, it was a scorcher. And then they're also
Yeah,
redoing
sun
their
was hot.
yeah. So I understand Willie Simmons not wanting to run Jaquezziant into the ground for that very reason. It's a spring game, honestly. I I did enjoy the goal line situation at the end, honestly, because now you get a feel for, it's jawbone to jawbone and may the best man win. And you never know. At some point it could come down to that. So you need to know having the right personnel on the field, having the right amount of guys on the field, because that's been a mistake made in the past before too, pre Willie Simmons, where they had 10 guys on the field. I'm not going to say in what game, but yeah. So it happens. So that's the joy I get out of seeing goal line defenses and offenses to end a game like what we saw Saturday. Triple overtime. It was exciting.
Yeah. Exciting, and sometimes triple overtime has a nasty double-edged sword that those fans sitting even longer out there.
Facts. Honestly, hell, I would have sat out there longer. Honestly, if I'd have been able to go, I would have.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also this now. So Bubba McDowell at Prairie View, who former Hurricane by the way, teaming up with Dion at Colorado and doing a mega camp. So here's the question I pose: why are we making a big deal out of these mega camps
Because
when
of who was in it and what happened last year to this year.
ding ding ding? There you go. Because honestly, my thing is this: I'm sitting here looking at the overreaction to this, and I'm just like, y'all do realize that? 'Cause I don't know if you saw it. This was back in 2015. I
Probably.
think it was like 2015, 2016 when Jim Harbaugh got hired at Michigan. everybody was making a big deal about, oh my gosh, Jim Harbaugh's having this like satellite camp. They call it a satellite camp. He's having a satellite camp down here in SEC country and stuff. And he's doing this, and it's ESPN blew out of proportion because it's like he's doing this. He's going to take all these recruits out of SEC country, and he's going to take a title away from the South. And this might be stuff. And come to find out, it never worked out because I remember this because they interviewed Jimbo Fisher when he was at Florida State about it, and they were like, "Are you going to participate in this whole satellite camp? What's your take on it?" And he was like, "We don't have to satellite. We're going to satellite right out of Tallahassee." Nick Saban didn't really care much, honestly. Like, dude, my thing is, why are we overreacting when this has been going on for over a decade? Jim Harbaugh literally introduced this. But I understand everybody's still sensitive about this whole Deion Sanders situation. Are we going to really be sensitive about this for like 5 years? He moved on. It's time for you to move on. Everybody. Get over. If he wants to satellite with Prairie View, I'm taking it if I'm Bubba McDowell. I feel no shame. I can guarantee you Bubba McDowell can give a rat's ass about people saying
care.
Exactly. Not at all. And then it's also Hugh Jackson's going to be there. And a couple other group of 5 and Power 5 schools. Like,
people get in their feels a little too much.
My thing too is I could care less if I'm a recruit because then that means there's more eyes watching me.
More scouts. Because you also have to include scouts for the colleges, recruits. There's gonna be a lot of buzz. If you show out, you're guaranteed a scholarship at multiple schools.
Bingo.
But yeah, they really only care about it because of who, not so much Prairie View, but who the other side is, and how it went down with Jackson State, and people getting up in their feels about it. Pretty much what it is.
Exactly. Actually, here's actually the list I can run off if I can find it. Let me bring it up. Okay, so it's headlined by Prairie View with Coach Prime. Prairie View and Colorado are in collab with it. Arizona State will be there. Georgia Tech, Eastern Michigan, Louisiana, Monroe. Can't figure out this third school. It's not Nebraska. Alabama State will be there, so that's interesting. Eddie Robinson and Dion will be in the same place at the same time.
That's me.
Grambling will be there. Fred McNair and Alcorn will be there, and Texas State will be there. And this is going down June 1st. I just find that interesting. Wow.
Just middle of dead season.
Exactly.
So all eyes on that.
Exactly. And I don't think
it'll be mainstream media that's gonna blow it out of proportion, but just if HBCU media just to not blow it out of proportion because it's just teams going in with recruits and stuff like that. It's not worth having a whole war about.
It's really not, dude. It's like I
Different
said,
things you could fight over.
I think
Not
it's
that.
I think it's stupid that people are making a big deal about it, saying that this is an NCAA violation when it's really not, and this has been going on since Jim Harbaugh introduced it. So it's okay. It's whatever. Also, too. Oh wait, no, that's for the other part. So I guess at that point, speaking of satellite camps and stuff, we can. I don't know. You tell me. You want to swing over to the NCAA, or you want to go straight to hot topics and talk about these basketball playoffs and everything?
Well, talking about satellite camps, Colorado. Might as well talk about a couple other things going on in college football, since we're already on the topic, and then we'll touch a little bit on the draft, and then designate the last half of the show for NBA and NHL, because by the time we get to that, Memphis Lakers will probably be in the fourth quarter.
True.
And right now, it's not a close game.
True. Makes sense. But yeah, so that's actually a pretty good jumping point because honestly, may not realize this yet, but speaking of Colorado, Dion has overhauled Colorado's roster. 51
Yeah, we knew that was coming.
51 players are set to leave. And he recently just signed Willie Gaines from Jackson State.
Are we shocked?
Not at all. Honestly,
We knew that was coming.
I
Didn't
did.
he say he's bringing his boys? He's bringing his players.
He said he was bringing his luggage with him, and he said he was coming.
Uh-huh.
So it doesn't surprise me at all. And I think one of Colorado's top defensive tackles just hit the portal today, and everybody's overreacting about that and stuff too. But it's like, dude, if you think about it, Colorado was 1-11.
Changed his profile picture.
No, John.
There is
Moran.
no profile pictures.
What's up, gang? NBA playoffs don't exist tonight. Honestly, dude. Yeah.
Hey, Memphis ain't got John. They got 15 right now.
Honestly, realistically, it might be.
Desmond Bain and Xavier Tillman cooking. I did not expect that one. I thought it'd been Tyus Jones cooking, but all right. Was of course AD choke job. See Drunk's profile picture's back.
I've been saving this gym for y'all show only. I only see the one with him with Drake like it's always been.
Yeah, I don't get it. I can't see what the other one was.
I thought it was always just that one.
Yeah. See, a team could use Melo right now, but
honestly,
I don't know.
I got an interesting thing, but when we get to hard topics, I got an interesting thing about that with Carmelo Anthony. I got something interesting to say about that. So say.
Well, see, I was gonna say since we're on NCAA and we got Drunk in the chat, who saw what Brady Quinn said about CJ Stroud, his favorite? It was a slow media day in the NFL, bro. Brady Quinn was saying that, CJ Stroud promised to go to this Manning camp and he didn't show up, and there are concerns about his accuracy when the pocket collapses, and it's a high drop off from when it is the clean pocket. And I'm like, hell, if he wants to drop out the top 10, I know a couple of teams that could use a quarterback outside the top 10 right now.
Honestly, I actually have some good news for you too regarding.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that. I thought that was what we were gonna use to transition to the NFL, but then I was like, yeah, we're talking about satellites and stuff. I was like, let's save it to the NCAA part because it's all the draft. Actually, we could just combine NCAA and NFL because it's all a couple of college stuff, but it's mostly draft stuff.
Of course. But yeah, geez, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, so.
But what I was gonna like with Isaiah Lamb meeting the Jets, Saints, Lions, Texans, and Cardinals this week.
Oh yeah,
Xavier Smith was meeting with interest from the Bills, Panthers, Bears, Lions, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, Rams. Did I swear I said Rams twice there? Giants, Jets, 49ers, Bucks, and Titans from Aaron Wilson.
I said it earlier. Xavier Smith on the Chiefs would not be fair, but I definitely heard HBC talk after I started talking iPhone 17 second. Okay. No, he had a delay. He has a 17-second delay on his iPhone. That's what he's getting at. It's all good, man. You're good.
I'm confused, but anyway.
I get it. I get it. He has a little delay on his phone. It's coming through. I get it. But
all right.
Yeah, no, I like the idea. Honestly, the Bears need a pass rusher. They haven't had one really since Khalil Mack left. They need some type of impact on defense. Von Miller ain't going to be around long. So the Bills need to give a look to not Marquise Bell. The Bills need to give a look to
Bears got number 9 right now. They're in perfect position to get a pass rusher, but I think they'll go offensive line in the first round.
Makes sense. The Rams need a pass rusher, honestly.
The Rams need everything. Rams don't have an entire special teams core. They have one quarterback under contract. Only Cooper Kupp is really their only receiver.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams might not be saying it, but I think they're tanking for Caleb. That team is like gutted. They've got this Super Bowl, and the whole team went to hell.
My thing is, how many more years does Matthew Stafford have on his deal?
Oh, on his deal? He just signed the extension after the Super Bowl, so like 3, but probably like 1 or 2 guaranteed left. I gotta check it, but there's not much left. But he could also just retire and not put them in a cap hell, I think.
I got you. I feel that. But yeah, so and then honestly too, I said it earlier, Todd Bowles used to be the defensive coordinator and secondary coach at Morehouse and Grambling. So I can understand him seeing the value of HBCU players. It makes sense. It was what 97, 98, but I could still see the value he has for HBCU players. So that doesn't surprise me either. The Chargers,
Oof. Wow. Ho 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 wow.
what?
Yeesh. Yeah, the Rams are stuck with Matthew Stafford for another 3 years minimum.
Yeah, see,
They can't
exactly,
get out until 2026 with only $18.5 million in dead cap.
exactly. Terrible,
See,
terrible.
now with this drunk, they said Dalvin is like he doesn't want to go to the Bills because he wants it to be James's team, his brother.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I can see why the Bills fans want him, but I don't think Dalvin's going there. If Dalvin going anywhere, it'll be Miami.
Honestly, I saw someone that's been saying, the Dolphins need to make a play for Dalvin Cook.
That's where he needs to go probably.
Yeah, but honestly, it goes back to what I don't know if you were with us that night. Allison brought up a good point where she said, a lot of these guys don't want to go back to their hometowns or their home states for a reason.
Well, yeah, too many people who know them want to rub up on them.
Oh, well, I like this. Okay, wait. I
I'll talk
know.
about that more in Hot Topics.
What's the best? Oh, we can talk about this now. Hold on. Wait. What's
No, the part with the players going to their hometown.
oh, what's the best position HBCUs have ever put out? The best position. Hmm.
Hmm.
Honestly,
I want to say tackles so bad.
I gotta say running back because honestly, I gotta put it like this: before Emmitt Smith, the all-time leading rusher, was an HBCU alum, Walter Payton, Jackson State, and then I would even go as far as to say, if Willie Gallimore, who played for Jake Gaither at FAMU, if he doesn't die in a car accident, he's the NFL's all-time leading rusher at the time. Like this is what back in the 50s, early 60s. He's the NFL's all-time leading rusher, not Jim Brown. So I'd have to say running backs are overall the best that they've ever put out. After that, you could make a play for quarterbacks because, of course, Doug Williams, Steve McNair, of course. Because actually, someone just did a list regarding this on Instagram. I'm trying to find it. Can't remember where it was. Oh dang, I
Well,
lost.
while you do that, I'm gonna hop over to Ashton. He's asking you, but FSU look dangerous.
FSU Spring.
Even if it wasn't pretty, I think they're still looking dangerous.
Oh, I came away impressed with what I saw at FSU spring game. I think Michael Pittman's son, I forget that kid's name, but I know that he is Michael Pittman's son, former Bucks running back, and he messed up his hip, so he won't be ready right away. I think he might at this point, I think, be a game time decision come LSU week. So like I said, I came away very impressed, man. They have a very suffocating defense still. Jared Verse is the leader of that pack. I actually got a friend of mine who went to middle school with. His name's Dylan Brown. He's an addition on the defensive line there. He transferred in from Rhode Island. I don't know how much of an impact he'll have, but he's a quality depth piece. And speaking of Jared Verse, they actually did an interview with Jared Verse and Jordan Travis at the end of the spring game, and they talked about how close knit those two that the whole team is. Like Jordan Travis was saying that like he was on spring break for a week, which was just 6 days, and he said that felt like an eternity. Jared Verse said he just loves the competition that they feel when they're together in practice because he said sometimes practice is more intense than the games. And I think honestly he might be right because Florida State is coming back. Just look at the guys they're getting. I think Mike Norvell just recently stole a recruit from Kirby Smart. How often does that happen? Think about it. That doesn't happen too often. That definitely wasn't happening under Willie Taggart. That wasn't happening in the first 2 years of Mike Norvell. It's enough to compete with Georgia. Ooh. I wouldn't say
Well,
so.
Georgia did lose a lot. Georgia and Alabama both lost a lot of D line pieces, but even then, I mean, it's really hard to take an ACC school over an SEC school.
It's at this point right now. I'll say two things with that. Right now, I think they got Clemson favored like by 47 or 40, between 47 and 55% to win the ACC. Florida State was at 17. And the other thing I'll say to that too is Florida State and Alabama actually have a home and home series slated for 2025 and 2026, I think, or 2024, 2025. I know the main year is 2025. And then I think they have a series with Georgia afterwards. So we'll see where both sides are at. I can at this point I can see both Norvell and Kirby Smart sticking around well into 2030. So we'll see what both teams are made of and what both teams are by then. Especially if it's like a mid-season, early season collision. I think Florida State has a great shot of dethroning Clemson to the point where we will kind of honestly see a Florida State Georgia matchup. At this point right now, I still got to say Georgia is a clear-cut favorite over Florida State. But at the same time, too, I mean, look.
Don't ask me who Georgia's quarterback is for next season.
Honestly, it's Carson Beck. I actually was just watching. That's funny you mentioned that. I was watching.
No, I was only say that because they had a guy who left Oklahoma. Probably is Carson Beck, but he left Oklahoma because he didn't want to compete with Spencer Rattler, and then he went to Georgia, and now he's second guessing himself. So
that was
the reason why I said it.
That was another kid.
That was a different guy.
Yeah. So yeah, Carson Beck actually, from what a lot of reporters are saying after the spring game, is that he actually he seemed the most cool, calm, and collected, and he seemed to have the greatest understanding of their offense going just through the spring game and coming out of it, whereas all the other quarterbacks did not. So they said if there was anybody they knew they had to roll out with right now, it's Carson Beck. And it makes sense because honestly, he took a majority of the snaps in the national championship after Stetson Bennett came out because that game was essentially over at half. Yeah, I enjoyed every second of it too, honestly.
All right, so while you go find the thing from Instagram for Drunk, I will talk about Quinn Ewers being the starting quarterback for Texas. While you do that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so Quinn Ewers was named the starter for Texas after the spring game because like I mentioned there, I don't know if Drunk was here for that one though. When I said people kind of sometimes overreact to spring games, and also offenses are more closely related to Broken Down Dodson than Lamborghini, essentially. Where it's not a smooth running machine. It's like a lot of broken pieces in it. So given that Arch Manning has only been there for a couple of weeks, months, barely a half practices, makes sense Quinn Ewers has a better concept of the offense in Texas since he ran the system last year. And you also have to include he's draft eligible this year, so he's probably playing for his draft position. If he does good, he goes to the draft. Arch Manning gets 2 years with Texas all for himself. Or he hits the transfer portal like everybody else does, which would just open another can of worms. But I mean, he's getting millions of dollars in NIL, so I doubt he will be leaving Texas anytime soon.
They won't do.
Sorry.
What the hell?
My bad.
Yeah, so Ewers was 16 of 23, 195 yards and a touchdown. Arch Manning was very rough. I gotta pull out the exact thing for Arch Manning, but it was not good. A lot of people were cooking him.
I couldn't find that post, but I was speaking of that. I was able to find something relating to that as well, because, oh my goodness, what's his name? Steve Sarkisian had a lot to say, or had some things to say about Quinn Ewers. He said, "I thought Quinn was very efficient today because they did name him the QB1 coming out of the spring game."
Well, I mean, it's kind of easy when one quarterback goes 16 of 23 for a $195, while the other one goes 5 of 13 for 30 yards.
That's true.
Well, like I said earlier, you got to give Arch a little bit of time. He ain't gonna come right out and take it.
You do. And here's the thing about that is like with Arch, it's like his dad, not his dad, even his uncle didn't have a good first year in the NFL. He struggled. He led the league in interceptions. Like
Mm-hmm.
you got to give him time, honestly. Like a baptism by fire does not do a Manning well. Is what they do after they get a good understanding when they get put in finally. And I think honestly too, you got to consider he was in high school just not too long ago, like probably before Christmas. So when he
Mm-hmm.
gets a feel of how fast the college game is versus the high school game, it'll get easier for him. It'll get easier for him. And plus, like I said, you got to look at what his last name is. He's going to figure it out eventually.
All right. But with that being said, anything else in college football, or you want to just take it on over to the NFL quick and then hit up the NBA playoffs, which is what this title of the show was named.
We can take it over
And we're saving best for last.
Yeah, we can save the best for last. We can take it over to the NFL real quick. So yeah, Aaron Rodgers has yet to get a deal done. It's pretty worrisome.
Yeah, they got 8 days to figure it out. Last week was 15 days. Now it's 8 days.
I don't know how to feel about it.
But it looks like more or less that Bryce Young's going number 1.
I would hope so, because honestly, I think and as well as me, I think we're both kind of hoping Carolina takes Anthony Richardson. We are hoping they take Anthony. I double dare them to take Anthony Richardson. If they do, it's free steaks all around. It's free ribeyes all around, dude. But
I'm gonna hold you to that, but I doubt it's gonna happen.
Me too.
It seems more or less like a lock. Bryce Young's going 1. They were talking about these S scores, like the intellect test or whatever. It's not Wonderlic, but it's a different test. And like Bryce Young got a 98 on it, which is like higher than like Mahomes, Burrow, Fields, Herbert, all of them. So, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Huh? That's a good one. I mean, it's kind of like free agency and trade requests.
Very true. Yeah, honestly, see, here's the thing with that. Like, it would be pandemonium because, and honestly, badly negotiated deals would lead to a NFL transfer portal. And I think that's why lawyers are so deeply involved with the NFL game and agents with the details of every contract. But it would be insane. And that actually goes back to what Tyrann Mathieu said recently about the current state of the NCAA's transfer portal. Because Tyrann Mathieu came out and said, I don't understand why kids leave so much. He said that he had to sit behind Morris Claiborne and Patrick Peterson, and it helped mold him into the dog that he became. And rightfully so. It makes sense because, like, dude, if you're sitting behind 2 first-rounders like that, it has to make you great. And it has to make you hungry and want to work harder. Which I think that's what – and hell, I think that's just what's wrong with America now is everybody wants to quit and up and leave a job and shit now. But, again, that's just my opinion. But I know Ace is laughing.
Oh.
He knows that's true. All right, that's enough. That's enough of CNN.
The vibes are off. It's time to leave. Anyways, yeah. So if the NFL had a transfer portal, it would be pandemonium. But like, they kind of have it right now with the trade request era. But player empowerment is kind of similar to transfer portal, where you don't determine exactly where you go, but if you want to leave based off situation, the trade request is what the transfer portal equivalent is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, back to the draft, where we said Bryce Young would probably go 1. They're saying heavily. I don't know if it's a smoke screen or not, but saying the Texans aren't going quarterback 2.
I could see that. It could be Will Anderson, or they could trade it to the
Mm-hmm.
Titans.
I think if Will Anderson goes 2, I would not be surprised if somebody has a trade up to go 3. What, like Tennessee?
The
To
Titans.
jump the Colts for a quarterback.
It would
It'd
be
be Tennessee.
it would have to be Tennessee. Now,
Tennessee or Oakland.
my
That's
thing,
if either one of them fall in love with like CJ or Anthony Richardson.
my thing for you, my friend, is I saw a mock draft where the Saints take Nolan Smith at what is it, 27?
Ooh. New comment. AP. Atlanta could jump to 3. This one I was also thinking about. So like if Bryce Young went 1, Texans went Will Anderson. I could see a situation where Atlanta jumps to 3 to go get CJ, so then they have the instant 2 best future quarterbacks in the division.
Hold on. No, I could understand Atlanta jumping to 3, but they've already said that they want Desmond Ritter as their starter week 1.
Desmond Ritter changing his number from 4 to 9, it kind of feels like he's gonna be the guy because I mean you're not gonna change your number if you're gonna be a backup, more or less. Like your team won't allow you to change your number if you're gonna be a backup because that's like having to change all the jerseys and everything.
Yeah,
So they have to be semi confident in Desmond Ritter to let him have the keys for this year, and if it just flops embarrassingly, like next year's class is loaded, and Atlanta would be in a better position if Ritter flops than having to give probably 2 firsts to get into number 3 from 8.
now he's got a decent amount of guys. No one wants Desmond Ritter starting for them. They lying through their teeth.
I can't even argue with this. This is a good one. Yeah. This is the year of smoke screens. I'm trying to keep it like I don't want to give you hope. So
Yeah, no, really.
I give it a solid 80% chance of Atlanta trading up. They just got to make sure Tennessee doesn't send the Godfather offer, while Atlanta, doesn't want to part with like the second first round pick or something to get to 3 from 8.
That's
If you
true.
know what I mean.
Because like I said,
Because like if you're Arizona, you got a lot of holes, right? Tennessee is gonna be like, hey, we got to go from 11 to 3. That's guaranteed 2 first round picks, 2 thirds minimum, and probably like a couple fourths or a second somewhere in between. While Atlanta, you're probably only getting a first, a second, and a third, or somewhere along those lines of like a first and 2 seconds or something like that. So like pick wise with Arizona having so many holes, they could be like, well, we're trading essentially a quarterback outside the conference, and we're getting more picks to move back 3 farther spots. So it's kind of like, well, Atlanta would want to jump up, but then you're like, can they get that deal done with the NFC team compared to an AFC team trying to make that deal? That's all I gotta say for that.
It's a good point. That's a good point. Now, damn, yeah, no, you took the words out of my.
See, San Francisco overpaid, and I think the entire league knows they overpaid.
Yeah, no, they did. San Francisco.
But then you also have Arizona would have leverage. Is like, well, see, when San Francisco went up to 3, it was from 12. It was 12 to 3. They also had, well, you're gonna get the third best quarterback because I mean, there's no pressure to jump anybody. So yeah, you might be right. Tennessee might have to offer more because you'd have to have pressure to jump Indianapolis. Whereas when San Francisco jumped, even though they did overpay in that situation there, because I don't think anybody was giving 3 first back then, to go from
Didn't that result in Trey
it was
Lance?
to jump. It was to jump Atlanta and Cincinnati.
Didn't that result in Trey Lance?
Yep, and Trey Lance is getting traded. Well,
Yeah,
they're fielding trade calls for Trey Lance.
yeah.
It'd be funny if Trey Lance ended up in like Atlanta, but I doubt that. I think Atlanta probably wants their own new guy now. They won't take somebody's scraps to build.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, AP. Would you rather have CJ Stroud this year or Quinn Ewers or
Caleb
Quinn
Williams.
Ewers or Drake May or Caleb Williams next year.
We'll give him a second to reply. Honestly, I bet you a lot of them wanted Lamar because that's what I had people telling me. They were like, "I hope Atlanta makes a move for Lamar." And then I think Arthur Blank came out and said that they weren't going to inquire. And it was just, but it was a lot of teams that followed that up and said that too. But yeah, honestly, I'm curious to see how this plays out with Tennessee though, because Tennessee is a late bloomer to the party, and they've said that they've fallen out of favor with Malik Willis. I don't know what happened there, and then you have
GM.
and then Ryan Tannehill, not CJ Stroud to me is the safest QB in this draft, and there's no guarantee that you get a top QB next year.
That's true too.
That's fair. Because
so honestly, you're thinking Atlanta is good enough to not be a bottom 3 team next year. Given that if Houston doesn't take a quarterback this year, they're definitely going to be the bottom 3 team guaranteed next season. The Rams probably going to be a bottom 3 team.
Yeah, I could
definitely. Who else could be bottom 3 teams? Arizona. But Arizona still got Cowher. I don't know if they're trading Cowher.
It would definitely be
that has to be resolved.
It would definitely be Arizona, Houston, depending on if they take a QB or not, because Will Anderson will only be able to do but so much. And then so Arizona, Houston. What was the other one you named? Oh wait,
like the Rams.
The Rams, yeah. See, that's another one. Like
Atlanta went 7-10, all-time trash defense.
Like if their defense is average, they're like an 8 or 9 win team. Yeah, that doesn't.
They've got a good rushing attack, so
they do.
I can see. I can see the logic in saying, well, the NFC South is open. You go send the house to go get number 3. No, for Kyler Hurts, I'm talking about if they got a top 3 pick next year, they're gonna probably trade Kyler and take a new one next year. Yeah, but back to this. Yeah, they have a good enough run game to win a couple of games.
They do.
The NFC South is playing I want to say it's the East.
Wait, let me see.
Season.
Let me check. But
I want to say it's the AFC South because they played the West this year. No, they played the North. Might be the AFC West.
Hold up, I got it for you right here. They're playing the NFC North.
No, for the AFC.
Oh, the AFC? They are playing the
South or West?
AFC South because the Bucks play the Jags, the Titans.
Yeah, so it's South. South and NFC North.
Yeah. So
Detroit's beating the Falcons unless something happens in Detroit, which I doubt. Minnesota, Atlanta could pull one up on Minnesota.
Absolutely.
Beat Green Bay, given what Jordan Love is. And then Chicago. Chicago's like that wild card. You don't know what Chicago's gonna do with Fields.
Honestly, dude, I feel like Chicago could still suck this year and still win that division.
Yeah, that division might give the NFC South for a run for its money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, I can see, because I think that's why Carolina did what they did, and we're like, all right, you know what? Screw it. Saints have a mid quarterback. Bucks got mid quarterbacks. They got a good defense. Like, the Falcons have the pieces on offense compared to Panthers who have the pieces on defense. Yeah. So, like, they're kind of, like, similar but opposite in the sense. But then they're both, like, well, you got 2 mid quarterbacks in the other division. The Saints have the best win now team, but the Panthers have the best future team. Whereas Atlanta's got potential best future team if they get probably CJ Stroud. Because they're more or less a quarterback and a decent offensive play caller away from competing if the defense is semi-average.
That's facts. They got to...
And not using Kyle Pitts and Drake London as decoys.
Yeah, they got to build around both of those guys, honestly. I think they need another impact wide receiver. Detroit will win the North. No solid QB. Great offense. 6th into 18th pick. They could be in a low. They could. They really. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish they would
I
have
know
kept.
a lot of people who
Williams.
would be happy if they did that.
I wish they would have kept Jamal Williams. I thought he was a perfect fit there, to be honest. And I'm not saying that because I didn't want the Saints to get him. I just really felt like he was perfect there because it was a bit of a level of pettiness with him being there and not being in Green Bay anymore. So that like I said,
All
that
right,
was
let me ask you this, AP, right? So let's say you got a guy like Jalen Carter at 8, right? So it solidifies him and Grady Jarrett together as your front four, right? But then you go and you send, I want to say you guys have what, 37 as your second round pick, right? So if you send 37 or whatever your fourth is or third, and you go into the back half of the first round and you go take Hendon Hooker, what do you say about that one?
honestly, I feel like you can even
So you
get him.
fix the defense and you go get Hooker, who's better than Ritter. Just the knee is the semi concern with Hooker, but he should be back before training camp.
You could even
Because
honestly,
they're saying Hooker's gonna be a first round pick anyway.
that's not bad. Hooker would be a nice second round pick, though. I still feel like he would still be there at
No,
30.
Hooker is gonna be a first round because with his knee they would want the 5th year.
Yes, that's a fair
So
argument.
I'll give AP a second to respond to that one. So like Carter at 8, and then so that's basically if Houston went CJ at 2, right? Arizona traded to Tennessee for Levis or Richardson, and the other one goes 4. So your 4 QBs are gone there, and then you're like, well, crap. Anderson goes to Seattle at 5, and then you have 6 is Detroit. Detroit goes that edge rusher from Texas Tech to pair up with Aiden Hutchinson, even though they probably go Jalen Carter there. So yeah, basically the guy from Texas Tech. I am forgetting his name. I need to go look back up his name. I'm forgetting it.
Yeah, from
Bad.
Tech.
Oh, you a Saints fan? All right, we good then.
But I believe.
I
Hey,
don't believe in Hooker because of her injury, age, and all. But see the way how he was talking about Atlanta, I thought he was a Falcons fan. My bad.
he definitely got me.
He got me.
But I believe in Hooker because of injury, age, and offense. To
All 3 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 of those I agree with. Injury, age, offense. Well, no, that's 3. Offense, Tennessee runs. Yeah, those are my same concerns with Hooker, but people like him. I'm not entirely sure on that. Why? But they're saying he's gonna be a first round pick.
look,
Generally, when you hear guys being creeped up week before the draft as becoming first round picks, judging they're either going to go anywhere between 20 and 38, give or take.
dude, honestly, I don't even know why Anthony Richardson's being mentioned, how he's being mentioned, but you
I
know,
assume top 10.
yeah, no, I don't, it's crazy.
Richardson's going to go top 10 because, scouts and potential and athleticism go hand in hand.
All I know is I would
Media
hold
and the
off
draft.
on jersey. I would hold off on buying that jersey if whoever takes him because
I would wait till year 2
not
and
even
just to see if he's year
I'd
3.
I know I would wait until the second contract is signed and the ink is dry, and that shows that he's proven himself. Same way if I was an Eagles fan, I'd buy a Jalen Hurts jersey now, or I would have bought one before the Super Bowl because that's when I knew Jalen Hurts was going to get a new deal. That's just how it is. Even if I'm a Dolphins fan right now, I'm still waiting to buy a Tua jersey. He
Well,
almost
Tua was contemplating retired. He was contemplating retirement.
exactly why I didn't buy one if I had been a Dolphins fan. But yeah, nah, he's spitting facts though. He right. He right. And we're gonna see the same thing with
See,
Anthony.
my whole thing. If you love a quarterback, you go and send the thing. That's why I was confused when the Panthers went and they paid the price to go to number 1. Like and then they said they didn't know who they were taking. I'm like, you don't give that massive haul and not know who you're gonna take at 1. Like, come on
Exactly.
now.
And this is why
AR
Carolina
has an inflated 54%. Yeah. Me and JPeeps was
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about this months
Oh,
ago.
yes.
We was like, if you watch his game tapes, they're either an 80-yard touchdown or a 3-and-out.
Yes. And this
Oh, 1.80-yard touchdown or a 3-and-out.
dude, this is where I look at this and I'm just like, I believe he was recruited by Dan Mullen. He was recruited by Dan
Mhm.
Mullen when he was at Florida, and then he got into Billy Napier's offense and couldn't do anything. Honestly, even in Dan Mullen's offense, he couldn't do much of anything. And you're seeing it now. Like, dude, I don't know how this is gonna go over, man. I really don't. And honestly, I don't think he would have made that much of a difference when Florida played Oregon State in the Las Vegas Bowl. Because what he
He got
completed,
outplayed by Jaden Daniels. That's all you got to know.
he got outplayed by Jordan Travis.
Oh, Jordan Travis, we knew was good. Like Jaden Daniels was good, but like if you want to be a first round pick, come on now, you got to be outplaying every team you play against. And like he's one of those that like he didn't do much in college, and you're like, how the hell is this guy gonna go in the top 5?
If he would have been someone that would have, willed his
But
team,
then
for me, it would have been if he would have willed Florida against a team like Georgia, I'd have been like, okay, like he's got cojones, and he could
I was
do.
gonna say the best comparison I could give you for Anthony Richardson is Trayvon Walker last year, because I've never really seen quarterbacks like Josh Allen.
I don't
I'm
know.
sorry, I got a cup on now.
I don't know if that was a sneeze or if that was a laugh or if that was a call.
No, that is trying to hold back what he wants.
Oh no!
Hey, you welcome. Pop in this comment section whenever you want, bro.
Wait! I thought. Oh, I didn't know what you were laughing at. Oh snap!
I saw that pop.
Oh,
All right,
dude,
we back. All right, we back. All right.
but
Anyway,
that's
so yeah,
because
Anthony Richardson, bro, like him and Trayvon is like the similarities are insane. Like situation wise, we're like neither of them did much of anything in college, and somehow they're tape with pads off, wearing tight pants and tight shirts somehow get them in the top 5. Like Josh Allen, like you watch the tape of him at Wyoming, you could see flashes of like, oh, okay, maybe you could see what you could work with there. Like Wyoming wasn't a slouch team more or less, right? Like
Mhm.
Trey Lance when he was in North Dakota State, like you could see when he was on the field, like he was making plays, right? It wasn't like a one play, one or a 3-and-out. It was consistent plays happening when he was in North Dakota State, and you're like Anthony Richardson, you're
Yeah, no, literally, that's how I was. That was me every week. Every time I watched Florida, that was me.
like if I was a GM and I had to pick between Jordan Travis and Anthony Richardson, I'd take Jordan Travis over him.
Of course, easily. Jordan Travis can do much, much more. Um, but I agree with this
Jordan
too.
Travis,
If I agree with it, this is very true because honestly, this is
that's
why,
why I was laughing.
dude, Emory Jones before he transferred out was like right here with
That's why Richardson never took the full job.
exactly. Exactly. That's why Dan Mullen did not fully dedicate to Anthony Richardson. If we remember well, he did not until Emory Jones was like fully out of the picture, and Emory Jones wasn't the best quarterback either. He just was not.
UCF.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So this makes a ton of sense, and it sucks because I had high hopes for Kitna. I kind of figured I was like, okay, former NFL QB or no, the son of a former NFL QB, he might develop into something. And then, Florida has a good history with like, Danny Warfel and, other guys like that, Tim Tebow.
Florida QBs ain't like that though.
They not, but in college they'd be like that. So I kind of had
Well,
hopes.
in college they'd be like that, but then in the NFL
They don't.
they
Yeah.
ain't be like that.
And then he
Like Cam
came
had
out.
to go to Auburn before he be like that.
Yeah. I know. And then he came out and that happened. I was like, geez, goodness gracious. That was insane.
Mhm.
Now, ugh. God, that's terrible. But that's wild. That's a
All
wild.
right. So yeah, we'll do the NFL mock draft, the two of us next week because it's Wednesday compared to this week, which is a whole week of stuff to happen. So night before the draft, we'll do the mock draft on here. But yeah, so Jalen Hurts got a nice fancy little deal, $51 million a year,
I'm proud.
250.
Like I said, it's okay for him to. It's okay to buy his jersey now.
He got a 175 guaranteed. I want to say it was. Lamar, the deal with Lamar isn't exactly the same that the Ravens offered him, so we'll see what if that deal ever happens, what that will be like.
Won't be
I
waiting.
would be curious. I don't think Lamar will get what Hurts got. I think it'll be just under. So what you got to stick with is he's got to be somewhere between Hurts and what Watson got, because he's got the MVP over Watson. No off the field nonsense like Watson got,
Of
and
course.
like his injuries were sacks, not like running injuries, and he doesn't have two ACL tears unlike Watson, but he doesn't have the Super Bowl appearance like Hurts has. So
That's
it's got
fair.
to be somewhere in that fine range. So if he was smart, he would take like because Hurts got less guaranteed money than Watson did, but the structure of that deal is different than what the Ravens offered him. So we should see. All right, talk this thing about DeMar Hamlin and why you think it's not a good idea, quick, and then let's move on to basketball.
My thing is just because I say it like this because, and this is actually where I get to flex off. What I do know about the cardiac region of your anatomy. This is where I
All
actually
right, Mr. Chiropractor.
Yeah. So what a lot of people don't realize is, and I'll type this out to you for those of you that just go like, I don't know what the heck he just said. So with DeMar Hamlin's situation, when he got hit, his heart was in the T. It's called a QRS complex, so to say. So it's like you have your atrial depolarization, which is your P wave. You have your QRS complex, which is your ventricular depolarization, where your heart goes up, down, and back up, which is QRS. And then you have the T wave, which is your ventricular repolarization, where you're at your resting heart rate. And so when he got hit, he was in that T wave, which was his ventricular repolarization phase, which is where his heart was essentially resting. And that's why what happened happened. So I say that happens, and I say this.
Speak it
So
in English.
yeah, okay. So basically, saying his heart was resting. His heart was at a resting point where it wasn't beating. That's when he got hit, and it kind of stopped his heart right then and there. That's basically what it was.
It was in a position it shouldn't have been in. Just say that.
Yes, basically. But still, I say he shouldn't be playing because honestly, it's like, dude, you're already taken care of and everything like that. What more do you need to prove? Because if something like this happens again, and I'm curious I want to know the details of how he got medically cleared to be able to play football again. Because honestly, dude, if it was me, I'd be like, look, I've made enough money. I know what I'm doing to save it, and I just wouldn't play anymore. That's why I just don't agree with it. It just worries me that this is going to happen again. I know it's going to be emotional when he comes back and everything, and it's going to be a big deal, but in a game like this, I wouldn't come back. Because it's like, how are you the same after that? It's a serious question. How are you the same after that? How? Like,
Nothing. It wasn't an exact cardiac arrest. I don't know.
even if he goes to tackle somebody, like, are you going to second guess yourself? Like, I understand nobody knows what it's like until they give the initial blow or get hit, but like, come on, dog. Like,
Well, he's gonna have to go through preseason and training camp with hits, so they'll
that's
know by then.
yeah, no, we'll know
Won't
by
be.
then.
He probably if you get cleared, like you got to get through those phases before you even get to a game to have it happen.
That's
Or
true.
it could be a ticking time bomb situation. I don't know.
Like I said, man, I don't know how to feel about this.
All right,
No.
let's get into the goodies.
Yes, the reason why the title is the title. Oh yeah, go with that one. That's good.
All right, NBA playoffs, man. I mean, all right. What series you want to start with? The sweeps or the competitive ones?
Honestly, I will say the competitive one to me that we actually got questioned about by one of our followers on Twitter was the Cavs Knicks situation and how we all
If the
basically
Cavs win Game 3, that series over. Just saying.
because they went out there last night and they did what? They put hands on the Knicks. Am I right? Or am I wrong?
And the best part was that guy who said that was a private account, so I couldn't even flame him.
Goes to show.
But yeah, so like Cavs. Let's just start with Cavs Knicks, I guess, since you brought it up. So yeah, Cavs. Like we know what the Cavs did last night. Cavs absolutely steamrolled, shellacked, whooped. I don't know how you want to call it.
Put
I
hands
mean, the
on.
final score was a 17-point game, but that game was at 29 points at one point when
I
I was
remember.
watching.
I remember.
Yeah,
It
like
was very.
everybody was getting on Darius Garland because he had 0 shot attempts in the second half of game one.
Mhm.
Yeah, the boy went and he dropped 32 on 17 shots.
Yeah, go. Yeah, 32.
Mitchell wasn't even all that last night. Mitchell's a great playoff performer. Mitchell only had 17. Like Mitchell only took 11 shots. That's how bad of a blowout it was. They
Yeah,
was chilling most of that game.
geez, Julius Randle, 8 of 20 from in field goals, 22
Mm.
points, 3 of 7 from 3 point.
Bronson was 1 of 8.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Geez, 5 of 17 in field goals.
The
Sheesh.
5-17 isn't the most concerning part about that, even though that's like bad. That's not even like 33%. But like the 1 for 8, woof,
Yeah.
that's rough. But yeah, so their game 3 is Friday night, 8:30 in Madison Square, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to think if the Cavs do what they did last night, that I don't. The Knicks will be doing like FU Donovan Mitchell or FU Darius Garland, like how they did Trey Young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, steamrolling them if they win that game. Game 1 of playoff series is the biggest fraud game of anything, every sport. It's a game 1 of a series. Like I'm a Magic fan, I get it. Like the Magic won game 1, they looked like world beaters against Toronto Raptors. They looked like world beaters against Milwaukee Bucks.
Of course.
Yeah, they didn't win a single game the rest of the series, and it weren't even close games. Game 1 is where weaker teams can somehow steal a game out because the other team doesn't take them seriously or whatnot, or the role players come out firing, which was what happened game 1 of the Knicks and Cavs game. That game was only a 4-point win. Like Brunson had 24 shots, he was cooking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you got 17 from Josh Hart. Like you're not getting 17 from Josh Hart every night. And like Emmanuel quickly has been an APB on him the entire series. Like he was not cooking at game
None.
1, and he had 12 last night, but it was more late 12 points than a relevant 12 points.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only concern I have with the Clippers, even though the game was a 14-point loss for them last night, but like a transition over to that series now where it's like, yeah, the role players were cooking in game 1, right? Batum was hitting his threes, Powell was like, he wasn't great or anything, but he wasn't terrible. And you were always getting contributions from Bones Highland. I don't think if it happens where they get into game 3, I think you're going to see a lot more Robert Covington
Mm-hmm.
because Tyler's not an idiot where he would, how do I say this, be insane and do the same thing that's not working over and over again, where the pick and roll, they were killing them with Zubac dropping out.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're going to see that again. And I think you will see Covington more. But then in game 1, the Clippers beat the Suns by 5, right?
Yeah.
Westbrook had I don't know what that pop-up is, if you saw it. Yeah, so, like, Westbrook had 9 points on 3 of 19 shooting. But you got 10 points from Man, which is below his normal averages. Norman Powell had 14 on and only 1 made 3. Bones Allen made 1, only 1 3. Batum only made 1 3, right? That's not your normal role player production, right? Whereas you go into game 2, they were down 6 at one point, and they were getting 0 contributions from Nick Batum, who had 0 points. Norman Powell had 12 points, but he was 0 for 3 from the 3-point range.
Mm-hmm.
4 of his points were from 3. You got another 10 points from Man. He only took 3 shots the whole game. That's not his normal stuff. Bones Hyland had 6 points. Like, he didn't hit a single 3. Like, you aren't gonna get those bad levels of contribution from your role players every night. Like, you can say what you want about the Suns, but the Suns aren't as deep as what the Clippers are, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like you're entirely worried about what happens with them. So it's more of, well, if Westbrook can play what he's playing, because I don't think you're gonna get 16 points from Chris Paul anytime in this series again, right? This series is every other game. It is the only series that plays every other game. Everybody else is either every other game or you get 2 days in between traveling, right?
Yeah.
So this series is a weird one. And Chris Paul's 37. Do you really think Chris Paul's legs are going to survive 5, 6, 7 game
Nope.
series?
Nope. And honestly, it's interesting that like I feel like this game and that Cleveland Knicks series are the 2 games that are like the ones that you feel like could go 7. They
That's
could.
the 4-5 series all the time because those are the 2 closest teams.
Yeah. Yeah. But even still, too, it's like, oh wow, Lakers are creeping back up on Memphis. They're down by 6.
Memphis, what are we doing now?
Well, now
7.
Memphis is up by 7, and they're going to probably be up by 8 after this basket right here. But I mean, yeah, that
Well, see with Ja, I think Ja might be back by game 2. Or not game 2, he's out game 2, my bad. Game 4, game 3, he'll be back for one of the LA games, I think.
facts.
I'll get there in a minute. All right, Ashton. I'm gonna do the 2 7s first, and then we'll work our way to the 3 6s. Oh, actually, you know what? We start 4 5. We'll work our way out. Since you asked about it, yeah, it's over.
Damn.
Vince Carter,
Oh,
it's over, man. It's
it's
like this.
over.
It's like this.
Oh, dude, look.
Okay, I mean, not say that it's not over yet. It'll be over tomorrow if Sacramento wins.
Look, I said it a few mornings ago. If the Kings were to take 2 of them at home, and if they go to the Bay and take at least game 3 or game 4, and then it's over. It's over right there. If they get up
They
3,
will win Game 5.
yeah, they'll win game 5 if it goes.
That's why I say I will hold off until I see what happens game 3 or 4 if Sacramento takes 1.
Yeah,
But without Draymond, I think you're going to see Sabonis eat.
yeah, because honestly, Sabonis, I give him credit.
Draymond was holding Sabonis out mostly.
Honestly,
Fox was what carrying them. Fox and Monk.
Sabonis, he was getting beat up. I've watched in that last game 2, he was getting beat up, but he held his own. He was
I
getting.
want to see what Kuminga does. They got to play Kuminga to justify that pick now.
Man,
Moody was looking nice.
Golden State's best hope is they win game 3.
This is right here. That's why we're saying if Golden State wins both games in Golden State,
Yeah,
I'll say it gets to game 6. That means game 6. I'm gonna take back Golden State because I believe in game 6 Klay Thompson.
yes.
But if Sacramento takes even one of those games in Golden State, mainly the one tomorrow, you gotta feel like it's gotta be Sacramento in 5. Because if that series goes back to Sacramento with them up 3-1, I don't think Golden State comes. Even if Golden State is down, if Golden State gets down 3-0, I don't see any way they come back from that. And if they go to if they lose game 3 but they win game 4, and it's 3-1, you're like, Sacramento's gonna be rocking.
Yeah. That's facts.
So,
Yeah, like I
I
said, I
don't know.
wouldn't hit the def
But
con.
I still think it's more or less over if Sacramento wins tomorrow. And just like that, Grizzlies back up 10.
Makes sense. But yeah, I wouldn't hit the def con button yet for
Golden State's on DEFCON 2.
yeah. Well, honestly, you gotta remember, yeah, it's the lower the number.
The lower, the more panic.
Yeah. So yeah, we are at def
If
con.
they lose tomorrow, it's DEFCON 1.
Yeah.
It was not game tomorrow, right? I'm saying that. Yeah, tomorrow's the game.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow night games are brutal for East Coast viewers, man. When I say brutal, I mean it's like absolutely brutal. You got Kings Warriors at 10, and you got Suns Clippers at 10:30.
What happened to just
I don't
starting?
know who scheduled that, but like that's gonna be brutal for the East Coast.
What happened to just starting at 8 p.m.?
The East Coast gets those. Well, it's 7 o'clock. I think
Yeah.
East Coast.
Well, I think also too they're accounting for the fact that hockey's going on too.
No, Sixers Nets is on TNT at 7:30, and then wait, it should be 4. Oh, there's only 3 games tomorrow. So Sixers Nets 7:30 tomorrow TNT, and then Kings Warriors is 10 o'clock on TNT, and Clippers Suns isn't even on TV. It's on NBA TV.
Yeah, see, because then you got the Lightning at 7 tomorrow night, and then you got the Rangers at 7:30.
But those are on ESPN.
Well, one's on TV.
Oh, yeah, the Rangers Devils TBS.
Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff on TV at once. Is what it is. That's why one of those games is on NBA TV. So it's understandable now. That makes sense.
I don't know why they didn't move the. They should have had the Lakers play Friday and have the Clippers play. Have both the Lakers and Clippers play Friday, even though they're both in LA. Or have Clippers play Saturday on 2-day break. No, Clippers Friday. Yeah, Clippers Friday, Lakers Saturday is what they should have had. So the Clippers get the 2-day break. So the Clippers Suns both get 2-day breaks. And they play Friday night instead of having both Clippers play at 12:30 on Saturday and the Lakers at 6:30 on Saturday. Both in Crypto Arena, so it would have made more sense if they moved Clippers Suns to game on Friday and then had Lakers Grizzlies on Saturday.
Question about that: Do the LA Kings also play in that arena, or do they play in the old Coliseum?
Yeah. No, they play in that arena, but they're in Edmonton until let me check it.
Until
They play tonight. They play tonight, game 2 in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Oh,
Friday,
that's why Clippers aren't playing Friday. That's
yeah.
why Clippers are playing tomorrow. That's my bad.
Kings play
Good
Friday.
question, because I forgot about that.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Yeah, because the turnaround on a hockey game is longer because they have to have the ice set than it is for well, the ice is already pre-made, but to transition from basketball to hockey is longer than it takes to transition from a basketball to basketball game.
Yeah, see, I kind of figured that right there because I'm noticing that for Friday, 10 p.m. puck drop, Oilers and Kings.
That's what happens when 3 of your teams are all playing at the same time in the playoffs in the same arena.
Exactly. My thing is, see, this is where the utilization of the old LA Coliseum would have been beneficial.
The Clippers need to hurry up and get that stadium done.
Exactly. But what else we got besides basically,
All right, so we did 3-6 and we did 2-7 with Lakers Grizzlies, right? Because Grizzlies right now is what's the score back 83-71. So it's a 9 to 11-point game right now. 12-point game right now.
End of the third, going into the fourth.
Yeah. So that game's going on right now. Bucks are up 24-15 on the Heat in the first quarter.
Without Giannis.
And then, Drew Holiday better show his butt up. Let me see. Drew Holiday's only got 4 points. Brooke Lopez carrying hard right now, 10 points in 6 minutes.
Timberwolves and Nuggets tonight at 10.
Yeah, I still think Milwaukee's gonna come out in like 5 or 6. I don't think that series going to 7, because like Giannis is gonna be back soon,
Of course.
and I don't expect Drew Holiday to keep playing stinkers like that. So I'm not too worried about the Bucks. The Timberwolves now, yeah, I don't think they're gonna last.
Oh, me neither. I think
Nuggets gonna probably finish that off in maximum 5.
It's actually crazy to believe, but like honestly, it's weird. I don't know if it's been a good luck charm for the Nuggets, but it's like I have not watched a single Nuggets game this whole season.
The only Nuggets games I've seen were the playoff game 1 with the Minnesota Nuggets game, and the 2 games they played against the Magic.
Yeah, see, that's way more than me because every other year I've usually seen the Nuggets and they don't do anything. But it's like now all of a sudden I haven't watched a single Nuggets game and they got the number 1 seed and they look so dominant. So I'm just like, maybe I just should stop watching the Nuggets altogether. I shouldn't watch the game, and hopefully that leads to them getting to the finals and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, and then like you got Michael Porter, you got Jokic, you got Jamal Murray. Murray, I think will be if the Nuggets go deep, it won't be entirely because of Giannis. I think he'll be like 60% of Jamal Murray being clutch back. You remember Jamal Murray in the playoffs? Him versus Donovan Mitchell in the bubble was like legendary basketball. And then you still got Aaron Gordon, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I don't know how much you expect from him though. Michael Porter, Reggie Jackson. Like they got a decent squad over in Denver compared to Minnesota, whose team is stupid as hell, and like one of them is punching a teammate, and the next one's punching a wall and breaking his hand. You're like, ay.
It's insane, dude. It's insane.
All right, so that's the 1-8 on that side. We did Milwaukee in that one, so let's do. Okay, Sixers Nets. How do I say this nicely? They're gonna need. They gotta play Cam Thomas. I know Jock Vaughn hates him for some reason. Dude's a 40-point scorer, even though they lose by like 20 every time he does it. But it's not much better when Mikal Bridges scores 40 points because they still lose by 10 plus. And I don't know why. Maybe because it's not good basketball that they're running. I don't know. Jeez.
I mean, honestly, I just felt like, the 76ers.
Has been more like, didn't you?
I just felt like the 76ers had way more firepower, honestly, coming into it. And then, the Nets, they don't have an enforcer like KD anymore to at least make a difference. So
I think Maxi's been the biggest savior for the Sixers, right? Like Maxi's been cooking both playoff games. Tyrese Maxey. Like Doc Rivers was an idiot, benched him midway through the season this year. But Maxi's only had 13 in game 1, but he was carrying the load right off the bat for them, while it took a minute for Harden and Embiid to get going. And then you went and you watched him game 2. He dropped 33 as a straight bucket. Game 2. Like he had 33 straight, no assists. Like he was just cooking it up because Embiid was struggling early. Again, Harden had his yearly playoff stinker. I didn't see this comment. My bad.
It's minutes.
No. Oh yeah. Like Jokic is like the engine of the team, but you can have a fast car as much as you want. If you don't got that good driver, like the car ain't gonna win you a race just by the car itself. That's why I say like Jamal Murray will be the driver of the car, which Jokic is the engine to. If you get what I'm saying with that.
Yeah. That makes sense, and this comment makes sense too, because it always is like that. Usually, it tends to be a lull when somebody
When you
leaves.
got an MVP candidate outside of Milwaukee, what Giannis was, even when Giannis was out, it's like just watch 2017 OKC Thunder. Like the Thunder were beating the Rockets. Westbrook went and sat on the bench for like 3 minutes and the lead was gone and they were trailing by 9. That generally happens with MVP teams when they're doing most of the work.
Yeah.
But with the Nuggets, they all right, give me a second. My computer is dying here.
Oh, he's trying to plug it in. I was like,
all right.
it just disappeared.
All right, we're back. We're not gonna die. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with the Nuggets. I don't know.
Hmm.
The Nuggets got to play Jokic probably like 30, 40 minutes a night minimum. I don't know how many did he play. Well, game 1 was a blowout, so he didn't play much. He only played 28 minutes. But Jamal Murray played 33. He had 24, 8, and 8. I think that is what you're going to see throughout this series and the playoffs from Jamal. So let's see. What is the series that we forget? 3-6. Who was the 3-6 in these? I'm drawing a blank here. 3-6 was 76ers Nets. Oh, 2-7 is the worst series of them all. That's gonna be a sweep.
What this?
Boston, Atlanta.
Oh yeah, dude.
Boston, Atlanta's gonna be a sweep.
That's over. That's over.
Dude. There is no way in hell I can see Atlanta not getting gentlemen swept at the best.
Dude, that's over, man. I'm sorry. That's over, and it's gonna end.
Trey Young busy shooting tour dates more than he's playing basketball right now.
Exactly, dude. That thing's over, man. I'm not even at this point. Not even really worried about that. that you can go ahead and put the Celtics probably honestly in the conference final. If I must be honest with you.
All right, Celtics 2. So they play Philadelphia game round 2. Hey, we're not done. We got one more quick thing to talk about. We forgot the team. This one.
Oh yeah.
The dirty crap show known as the Toronto Maple Leafs last night.
Oh jeez. And how they
But
put
yeah, so current update right now is Islanders, Hurricanes are tied 3 apiece, 5 minutes left. Bruins, Panthers tied 2 going into the third.
That's actually another one.
Minnesota, Dallas, and Edmonton, LA are at 9:30 and 10.
Honestly, I kind of figured. I thought the Bruins would be handling Florida more handily, but honestly, the Panthers, they're scrappy.
Panthers just gotta beat the goalie. I mean, I know that's like the purpose of hockey, but like the Panthers are killing the Bruins 5-on-5. It's to beat the goalie is the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like the goalie's bailing out the Bruins big time right now with Bergeron out.
Mm-hmm.
Like Panthers have been cooking them. It's just the puck's not getting in the back of the net enough. Like the goalie's bailing them out. All Marquez, I mean. So we'll see how that series goes. I hope Panthers win, but like I'm not. I probably Bruins will win that one. But yeah, back to last night's game. Lightning went out 2-0 early. Booze came down at the end of the first when they went up 3-0 at the end of the power play.
Mm-hmm.
And then second period happened. People want to blame Maple Leaf fans want to blame the refs, but they were only in the game because of the refs. Because they got both their goals off the power play. And the first penalty was like, really? You're gonna call that?
I think I was about to say, when were they ever even in the game? But it's like
it was 3. It got to 3-2, and then Bunting went and pulled a Nazem Kadri and took a headshot at Chernak.
Mm-hmm.
Knocked him out after Hedman didn't come back to start second. But they're saying Hedman's a game time decision for tomorrow night. I don't know. So then the Lightning were down 4 defensemen with like 5 minutes left in the second. So that pretty much ended the game once they got the 5-minute penalty off of Bunting and they scored twice. But yeah, like Toronto is gonna take some cheap shots, and you saw with the fan base, they're like, all right, just take headshots at them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the lack of class with the Maple Leafs fans last night was ridiculous. And this morning when they announced Bunting got suspended 3 games, like it was brutal.
Like I said, dude, they'll probably win home in 5 games anyway. So
I think if worst, I think probably Maple Leafs will probably win tomorrow. I wouldn't be shocked because the Lightning are gonna have to play 2 new defensemen. I mean, Jeannot might come back tomorrow, but I was like, can we like save Jeannot until when Bunting comes back if it gets that far, so we could just beat the crap out of him? Because Jeannot's a good fighter. But if Jeannot plays tomorrow, like Sergachev's gonna have to have like one of the best games. Him and Perbix and Radish. Ian Cole will probably play too.
Mm-hmm.
Just gotta hope Bogosian and Hayden Fleury don't kill you when they come in the lineup. But yeah, that's all I gotta say with that. Probably Bolts in 6. Probably Bolts mainly in 5. Mainly in 5.
Yeah, I could see 5 or 6 honestly with that series. I think I initially
The best
picked
part of that,
6.
I took 7, but then I was like, I saw those first 2 minutes and I'm like, wait a minute. The Lightning remembered how to forecheck and play defense?
Dude,
I'm like, were
I
y'all
thought-
chilling all regular season after the All-Star break?
dude, honestly, I
Like
really,
they were bad post All-Star break. They didn't care one bit. They
dude,
went to Miami for the break and they just like, I don't care. Get me into the playoffs. I don't care.
I'm
We'll
telling
cook
you,
then.
I think it was what a lot of people thought it was. They lulled everybody to sleep just by doing enough to get into the playoffs, and I kind of had a feeling about that earlier. I was like, they're going to do just enough to get in the playoffs, and then when they get in the playoffs, they're going to cut the dogs loose. And lo and behold, that's what they did.
They did that. Remember, Kucherov sat out the entire year 2021 with surgery. He had the hip surgery after
Yep,
they won in 2020. He sat out the entire 2021 season. They made the playoffs as like a wildcard team because the Panthers were good. Panthers had home ice that series, and they won out game 1, beat the living dog crap out of Florida.
exactly.
Game 2 was tighter. Beat the dog crap out of them. Chase the goalie. New goalie in. I think this series might go very similar to that series.
Now, here's my thing. Before we get out of here this evening, does Ace have his good luck T-shirt ready for tomorrow night? Did you Febreze it?
I honestly couldn't find it last night. I had the lucky dog bandana on. Hey, I'm telling you, I put that dog bandana on that dog, bro. They scored 4 straight.
All right, well there you go. Just make sure you do that then. I don't even know if you want to find the lucky T-shirt now. You just might have to just,
The T-shirt is somewhere over there. I don't know where.
you know
I
what, just
want to put all the clothes to wash to try to find it to see if it was like disappearing. So I don't know.
just go with the dog bandana then. Just do that then.
Nah, but I'll bring the Lightning T-shirt back for when they play in Tampa.
Make sure you go to Hat Tricks too for me and go have a good time as well.
I like to watch my games home and yell at the TV. I'm an old-fashioned person.
Oh wow, yeah, no,
But hey, when I'm in a hockey game, bro, that mouth, it's like free reign, like some stuff that you probably get yourself in massive trouble. That is not a public mouth when the games go on.
I'm telling you, that's why you need to go to Hat Tricks and go sit at the bar and watch the game. That's why.
Until
That's
I find all right. Before we get way too off topic. All right, anything else? Or are we done?
I think we're
The Rays made it 13-0, lost to the Blue Jays twice, beat the crap out of them the last game of the series, and then are beating the dog crap out of the Cincinnati Twins.
Reds. That's
Not
Minnesota.
Twins, Reds. My bad.
I was gonna say Minnesota is the Twins, Cincinnati's the Reds.
They beat Minnesota earlier this season.
They did. And yeah, honestly, dude, like I said, the Rays are still undefeated in the US. They're
16-3 right now.
They're what?
They're 16-3 right now as a team.
16-3. So they lost 2 to Toronto. Did they lose 1 to Cincinnati? So if that's the
Give
case,
me a second. I'll check. They lost the first game to Cincinnati 8-1, and then they proceeded to win 10-0 and 8-0.
okay. So they got a feel for the rotation that the Reds have, honestly. Okay, so they're
Starting a 3-game series against the White Sox Friday. And then Astros, White Sox again, Pirates, Yankees, Orioles, Yankees, Mets.
Pirates. Wow, that's a rarity. That Astro series is going to tell a lot, though, early on.
Mhm.
How good are they early on? That's what it'll say.
Thank you guys so much for another great episode of the Running Gun Podcast. Shout out AP, Ashton, and Drunk as always.
Yes.
AP, you're welcome anytime.
Yeah, no, we enjoyed it.
The comment section, keep the entertainment going. The Kitten the one got us cracking up a little too much there. But vibes were great tonight as always. Be a friend, tell a friend, like, share, subscribe. Yeah, mock draft will be next week. Wednesday live.
That kidney thing has me just, oh god.
I did not expect it, and it.
Of course, man, of course.
We kind of did drunk dirty. We was talking about the HBCU things, and then Ashton asked about the FSU thing, and we just went off, and I forgot about it. But I think we did say running back, right?
Yeah, I said running back, honestly, for drunk.
I said tackle. I don't know. I just want to be different.
I mean, honestly, you know, you could have went wide receiver, running backs, wide receivers, and quarterbacks, safeties. Well, just defensive backs in general, because you got Aeneas Williams.
Yeah.
You got the other defensive back, Mel Blount. So, you know, there's a couple of them out there. And Mel Blount was a very tall safety, honestly.
But yeah, as always, thank you so much for another great episode. JP's final words. Now you want to do it.
That was a very interesting episode. It was very fun-filled. Talked about a lot of stuff. For once, we didn't match.
The chemistry was off, but it was the same, if you know what I mean. Like, both were different Tampa teams, but I don't go for that team up there. You won't catch me wearing that stuff.
Yeah, I know. We won't catch him ever wearing red and pewter or creamsicle orange at all.
Blue,
so
yes. Red, nah. I'm not a red person. I really don't like the color red.
you don't?
Mm-mm.
Honestly, it's weird. I'm not a fan of the color red unless it's Bucks. Same way I'm not a fan of the color orange or green unless it's FAMU. But honestly, everything in my closet's usually black, gray, or white, or silver, which is also
neutral colors.
Yes. If I'm going to a sporting event, there's certain colors I'm rocking. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm weird. I'm weird.
Yeah, we know.
Thank you.
But yeah, thank you as always, guys. Peace out. See you next week. We'll have a great mock draft next week. I don't know. The vibes will be immaculate as always.
Take care, y'all.
You want to run this intro?
Stay blessed. The outro.
Outro.